So let us tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earning for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future we can't vanish. It's E2's finally day that sell us. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fankers bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. That's a great start. And hopefully I'm not glitchy like yesterday. But if I am, I'm so sorry. I need to get out of this bedroom. We are here for the Palace situation. This is the aftermath to Glasner's press conference today, previewing Chelsea. I'm here with Tim. How you doing after yesterday?
I'm much better than I was yesterday. I think it was good. Thank you for letting me get my feelings out. I've had a lot of, I think as like a lot of us, I've had a lot of feelings over the last week. Not all of them have been good. Today I feel better, like after seeing that press conference. I still have questions, but I feel better.
No, absolutely. Oh, look who's back.
Sorry, guys. For some reason, I thought it was at half
right.
7. It's a good thing I double checked. So, got new background.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Because of your work schedule, I kind of assumed you weren't available.
Oh no, I am around. I just thought it was half 7, but I'm here now. So,
sweet.
Brilliant.
Sweet.
Well done.
How you guys? You right?
Yeah, not too bad. Look, notice I'm still in my work attire. Literally had to rush back myself. Partly, obviously, as well, because big up to Tim. He's got another thing at 8. So we thought we'll just move it half an hour early.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And get it started. But let's get into it. First things first, for those who are in, please smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I think we're on the road to 3,300 subs, I believe, or 300, 400. Let's have a look. Yeah, 3,300 subs. So yeah,
nice.
Thank you guys. You honestly you lot make this what it is. Yes, I know we are the face of it. You see us, but you just clicking the like button and you subscribing goes a long way. Right, a few early comments. In fact, I'll get Dan to do the comments because I know my system's lagging at the minute.
All right, 1, 2 seconds. I'm just putting this out on Twitter. Right. Big up there, Fez. The careless one has spoken. Who is the careless one? The problem is that once your credibility as a witness to the events at your club goes, you aren't getting it back. See Roy after the Bournemouth train strike game. I can't remember what happened. Remember what happened? I can't.
It was the Palace fans are spoiled, right? That was the spoiled comment.
Yeah, that's not good. Okay.
There was never any coming back from that. Yeah, Durfez is right about that.
Yeah. Big up the dog. Spend 40 mil on at Chiampong. Dude is the truth. I'm going to throw this back to you. If we play with 2 centre-backs next season, do you think that changes anything? Get Patrick Agyemang from Derby. Agyemang from Derby. He plays for the US.
He's an American.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an American striker.
Well, he's actually from Ghana.
Yeah. But he plays for the US team.
He does play for the US team, yeah.
He's a dual national. I should be clear about that.
We're just trying to get as many decent strikers because we don't seem to have it.
Or Sharif from Managers. I know that we are also interested in the Ren. Well, apparently we're interested in the Ren guy as well. Mete. Have you all watched the homecoming of Sarr? Oh, yeah,
that was nice.
Watch out, right? Sarr and Munoz are back. We're going to play well. What happens then? Do you know what I mean? Big up chairman. Big up Jason. Parrish is in reactionary mode, never proactive. No sporting director, no plan.
Great shout.
Was Dan on a Palace general strike? You know what? To be honest, I've been trying to stay off Twitter for the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to lie.
Smart man. Smart man.
What do we expect the atmosphere to be like on Sunday? I think it. I mean, me personally, I think it just depends. Like the thing is, if we take an early goal, maybe things change. But if it's a dirge, then do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love Glasner and what he's done for the club, but he should have been sacked. I'm surprised he didn't get sacked. To be fair,
yeah, same.
It's because it would have cost money. That's the reason why he wasn't sacked.
I don't think it would have cost that much, but I think if they had sacked him, like who was taking the team? Like I don't think I don't think they would have known who would take the team if they had sacked him.
I think the problem is, of all the targets, is one of them going to come in now?
Right.
Otherwise, you're throwing in Paddy there for the last kind of.
And who else are you giving Paddy? Is he going to do it by himself? Like they were to Jason's point, like they were nowhere near ready. Nowhere near ready. To sack him.
Danny, big up Eagles, 1970. Danny Rowe is the most natural Glasner replacement.
Oh.
Is he at QPR? I'm trying to think because I'm sure he was at I know he used to manage in a championship and he was doing well. I can't remember where he's at now.
There's rumors that Roger Smith's odds has gone down to 2-1.
Yeah, I heard that.
Which means it must be very close.
Big up, appearances on the Eagle Eye has managed to get him into
a new room. It's not a new room.
It's a different angle.
It's just a different angle. It's a new machine.
So, you guys, there's a lesson for you. Angles mean everything. Big up, Ian. Let's hope
I'm going to behave myself. I could have taken it somewhere. I'm going to behave myself.
Apparently, Leeds have a 30 million bid for Strand Larson rejected. Wow.
And I think Everton have gone for Everton. I think have bid in it as well.
That's it. But this is the thing. If you want an established, a striker with Prem experience who is decent, that's the thing. Exactly.
Money.
Exactly. Oh, he's at Rangers. Oh yeah, because they got rid of what's his face, didn't they? Russell Martin.
Yeah, he was terrible there, wasn't he?
And he was at Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, that was it. And he was doing quite well at Sheffield Wednesday. To be fair, there's some good managers that have been in and around the Championship the last few seasons. The disrespect and the fact we can't find a place for it means they have no plan. I think, you know what? I think that's a fair point because I think those kind of comments. I mean, whilst obviously I would love Glasner to stay, like, if you're slagging off your boss like that, I mean, come on.
I know. I mean, I will talk about it, I'm sure, but like to Jason's point, I think there is a plan, but I think there is a lot of criticism to come in for the board because the way they have executed has been, I think, objectively poor. I don't think Jason is that far off here. I think there's a plan. How they've executed that plan and whether that's the right plan, there's legitimate questions that need to be asked.
I agree. If we lose the next three and West Ham pick up a couple of wins, what do we do with that? I mean, I think I can tell you why that's not going to happen because you said West Ham are going to pick up a couple of wins. They're really not very good. I mean, last year it was Ipswich. The year before it was someone else. I don't know. The year before that it was someone else, and this year is West Ham. Do you know what I mean? If you watch a game of them, they are terrible. They are really bad. Parish has demonstrated over the last 15 years from administration that he has a better long-term plan than a short-term plan.
I agree with that.
Big up, Darren. I think we can sign a defender on loan. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Gonzalo Ramos is available.
Is he, though? I don't know that he is. I mean, he's on the bench at PSG, but I don't think they're going to sell him.
It's all paper talk, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, thanks for the comments, guys. There's a lot of them, so I'll try and skim. Lampard is a plan if you believe what you believe. I'm interested to see what he's done at Cov because I know he was terrible at Everton, and I know his stocks dropped a lot at Everton, but he took some time away from football to try and get himself. So I want to have a watch for his Cov team, to be honest. But yeah.
Just quickly, I just want to shout out Earth, who's very observant. He said that you could tell Palace have not been doing well because I haven't lost my voice in a
Yeah.
Right, let's go into this presser because there's a few bits. Obviously, be mindful that obviously Tim's got another meeting coming up around 8 o'clock. So he was asked quite a few questions about Sunderland. He was asked one whether he regrets what he said, what's been like the implications from it, what's happened with Parish. He said he sat down with Parish at dinner. He said that it's not a case where he doesn't care. Then he started saying that he met with the players and he spoke to them about their ambition and really wanting to finish the season strong, and so on and so forth. Do we believe him though?
Yeah,
That's the question.
that is a huge question. I mean, I'll kick it to you guys. I have opinions on this, but you guys start. Like, do you believe him?
All right, I believe he does want to win things. That I do believe.
Yep, I believe that too.
Yeah.
I don't believe he's met with Parish.
You don't believe that?
I don't believe that.
Okay.
The Matt Hobbs one, yeah. I reckon he's met with Matt Hobbs. I 100% don't believe. Parish has gone like radio silent.
Yeah, he's gone dark. Yep.
You know, so I don't believe that. Him saying he doesn't regret what he says, but trying to spin it as like, if I had regrets, this and other. Don't play us for fools. You know, you said what you said. You meant what you said. Just put it right, because now we've got you to the end of the season, so we have to back you. You know, as much as we're peed off about everything, just go win us the Conference League. At the very most, just turn this ugly form around. And like I said, I'm giving it 2 games. I'm giving it, and as much as obviously the 2 difficult games, I just want to see us play better now that Munoz and Sarr are back. If our performance is still stinky, then this is beyond the Sarr and Munoz returning. That's my thoughts.
Dan?
I thought I summed it up pretty well, to be fair. So I do think he does want to win. I feel like, you know, if he does want to go to, you know, another team, in like, even if he's doing it purely for his own value, his stocks are gonna be higher if he wins the Conference League, and then teams will be looking at, you know, what's happened and stuff like that. You know, they're going to look at the fact that he does come out in the media and he does say things, and they're going to take that as a negative, really, regardless. And I think whether you know, and then for them it'll be a balance of, are we going to put up with that if he can win things? And I mean, if he's then taken Crystal Palace, you know, a trophyless team, minus his Zenith Data Systems, of course, you know, a trophyless team for their entire history, and then they then won two titles under your tenureship in 2 seasons. You know, a lot of teams are going to look at that and be like, well, okay, if, you know, maybe if we do try and keep him a bit happier than Palace did, maybe he can win us things. So even if it's for a selfish thing, I do think he does want to win. But I do agree, like, there comes a time when, you know, you're looking at the players and you can't, like, even if it's not necessarily because he doesn't want to win, but if the players are there because they don't want to play for him per se, obviously we don't know what happens in the dressing room, whatever. But, you know, if it is a case where the players are like, they're not playing for him anymore, then obviously you're going to have to move on, as much as that pains me to say.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm going to take him perhaps naively at his word for the moment, but with a caveat, with a really big caveat. I don't think it's up to him anymore. I think it's up to the players. I think it is entirely, this season hinges on whether or not these players can come together and lead from the front on the pitch. I do believe that Glasner will try, because it's in his best interest to try to finish the season strong. But where I thought he was the X factor before, I no longer believe that. I think he's burned too much credibility. Now I think it's on Max, it's on Dino, it's on Richards, it's on Yuzi, it's on Sarr, you know, all of these players who have what we hope is a lot to give and a lot to prove and to turn this around. I think it's on them. And if they're up for it, if the spirit in the dressing room is, this sounds so corny, but feel like you got to invoke a little bit of the spirit of 2010. You need some of that. If you get some of that, then I think we're going to be fine, and I think we do have a chance at the Conference League, because it's different, man. I mean, Glasner didn't say it during this press conference, but he did take a really big swipe at the players who did not come on at Sunderland. He took a big swipe at those players. That you don't forget that very easily, I don't think.
And just on that note, like, because I know they have like an embargo system. What was that question asked in that segment? Because I'm not gonna lie.
That's an interesting one.
I'm not in journalism, so I don't know if there's a certain level of question you can ask. But that's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
Why did you say?
I mean, that's interesting. That's interesting. It would be interesting to know. It would be interesting. It's too bad we don't have Bobby on, because we could ask Bobby if that came up. Because that's a great question. I would like to know. I mean, Dan Cook in his pod has made this point. He's been waiting for somebody in the press corps to kind of ask Glasner, well, what is it you would do? Like, just to challenge him a little bit, say, like, I get it. You've lit the whole place on fire. Now what would you do? And no one's really challenged him on that. So yeah, it would be interesting to know if anybody asked something like that. But that's the thing. Like, I'm going to take him at his word, because I think it's in his best interest to push us forward. But to me, it's like, I need leaders on the pitch. That's what'll do it. If we have genuine leaders on the pitch, then you got a chance.
No, absolutely. Dan, on that, we're not going to absolve the board of any fault, by the way. Our club is run horribly bad, to the point where, look, our skipper's gone, and our best bet right now is a loan option for a defender. That in itself is an embarrassment. Granted, we've made a 20 million profit on the zero we were going to get in the summer, but my question is more so with the dressing room tomorrow. Not even tomorrow, Sunday. What on earth does Glasner say to motivate these players now? Especially the ones that he's absolutely chucked under the bus.
Yeah, he's fried.
Well,
for sure.
I think, if I'm to be really brutally honest about the players who didn't come on, I don't think they're the kind of players that are going to come on and change a match. So,
he's right about that.
The thing is, I don't agree. I don't agree that he's name dropped it and said it. I don't agree with that at all. But I also don't think he's wrong. Like, this is the problem. Like, the only senior player on the outfield player on that bench was Uche. He absolutely should not have said it publicly or anything like that. But
then, are we having a mentality because it's Glasner that we're like, oh yeah, he shouldn't have said it, but he's right? Because Roy said some stuff and he got absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, he got skewered. Yeah,
he did. I can't remember. I can't remember when it was. Was it that Bournemouth game? Is that what it was, or was it before then? I can't remember now. But yeah, no, you are right. Roy did get absolutely rinsed. But to be honest, it's all. But then saying that, for me personally, I've been a bit retrospective with Roy. I think Roy did an absolutely fantastic job now. Like, even the last 2 years, I'm not including the second time he came back, but the last 2 years of his first spell were absolutely horrendous football. But looking back on it, he had absolutely nothing, to be honest. So, in hindsight, I probably did slaughter him at the time, but in hindsight, I actually probably agree with him now. So in that respect, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, because obviously it matters. Like, you don't want a toxic dressing room, but I would like to think that at least he's gone back and at least built bridges and just said, I'm sorry, I was out of line, blah, blah, blah. And that's what at least I would hope happens behind the scenes if the players there took offense or whatever. I think in terms of motivating the players, I think it's in a similar position to like, does Glasner want to win? the players want to win. Like at the end of the day, they're all Premier League players because they want to win every single game. Like the mentality to get to that level is just ridiculous. And anyway, and then I think the good thing with Dougie, and I think one thing that we will miss with Dougie going forwards, is I think Dougie was always very good at gauging a player's personality and whether they would gel with the squad. And I think, I mean, this is all from the outside, so I don't know, I could be totally wrong here, but I feel like the cohesive group of players, and I guess staff is included in that as well, is very good. So I think... I feel like the players should motivate themselves, to be honest with you, because I feel like they're at that level where they would be there. And again, like Glasner, if they win the Conference League, that's more thing to their stock. If they want to leave, that's more thing. Like you know, for example, if Munoz wants to leave, you know, he's left with 2 trophies in 2 years, been one of the best right wing backs in the Premier League or right backs in the Premier League. So, you know, he can add to that. You know, you got a bit more bargaining power, and also as well. Like if you think, even just say like say we do win the Conference League, technically speaking, we are then a Europa League club. So if another team wants him, they're basically competing with us in being a Europa League club. So, you know, maybe rather than, you know, if we didn't win the Conference League and whatever, maybe he would be targeting, I don't know, say like a Conference League or Europa League club. But if we get to the Europa League, he'd be like, well, I'm only going to move if it's Champions League or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I think for the players, even if it's for their own pure selfish intentions, I just can't see how they would drop. And like I said, I think with Dougie, I think he's got a good group of players where I don't think they're bad characters and they would just throw their toys out the pram like that. Yeah. But like I said, I would hope that Glasner at least, you know, built bridges behind the scenes because, like I said, I didn't agree with the name dropping and saying it, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I will say that was, I mean, he probably has to say this in the press conference, but I've not heard him sound so confident in a while. He said, look, Chelsea are a good side. We need to beat them. We're going out to beat them. That's the most confident I've heard him in a while. You know, so it's fingers crossed. You know, obviously on the selfish standpoint, we just need something from this game.
Exactly. Yeah. And
100%.
Sorry. And what was I going to say? I'm distracted now. I can't remember. Also, as well, I think, who knows as well, maybe it was one of those things like, you know, when something is just like bugging you and just eating away at you for ages and ages and ages, and suddenly it just erupts into like an argument, and then suddenly like the air's kind of cleared. You know, maybe it could be something like that as well. I don't know. And obviously, like we've had a week's training this time. I think 1 week training consecutive for the first time since probably like October or something
August.
like that. Yeah, probably August, to be honest.
Yeah.
And obviously he's got, you know, 2 of his favourites back in Sarr and Munoz as well. So, and also he's played Rafinha before. And to be brutally honest, we should have beaten Strasbourg if it weren't for, you know, missing 2 open goals and them scoring probably one of the luckiest goals you ever see. But you know,
and I watched. I mean, if you didn't watch the highlights of the game versus Paphos, Chelsea gives away chances. They press. Look, Paphos are not. They're not Palace. They do not have the same speed or attacking threat, especially with Sarr back and with Munoz back, that we have. So Chelsea is all forward, all gas, no break. You have to. I mean, I have to believe, Rich, that we are going to get runs in behind, and we're going to get balls into the attacking area. Surely we're going to get chances to score goals. I mean, it's a rough ask, but come on. I look, if we lose 2-1 and we have a real go at it and we are putting them under pressure and we look like a team that has not given up and wilted, but we're like, okay, we're here. We didn't quite get it over the line, but we ain't done fighting. I won't be happy, but I'll take that.
100%. And I think that's all that's needed this Sunday. Because obviously, like I said, number one, when the players are announced, would Teta's name get booed? Don't know.
Yep.
When the players are walking out, what would that be like? When Glasner walks out, what's that going to be like? Like, there's going to be so many little pieces to the puzzle whilst we're there at the stadium. Could actually, and it sounds crazy because I know every fan's entitled to feel the way they feel, and I'm never going to obviously be one to try and gatekeep that.
Yeah,
but it's a weird feeling. Like, everyone who does want to boo, I get it.
I get it.
I understand it.
Totally.
But then is that going to have a negative effect?
Yeah,
know, so instead of looking
at
both sides, like, I 100%, I'm considering booing myself, booing Mateta. Because yes, these words have not said. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Let me ask both of you and chat. I would like the chat to weigh in on this as well. Do you expect, because we've seen this before, has Glasner just done enough to prevent the HF from putting up a banner, either slating him or slating the board? I think it's more likely that they'll go after the board. And to be fair, I mean, the board has a lot to answer for. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a banner. Do you think there's a banner at this game?
I'm going to say for the board, no, because Parish lets them do what they want. So I've only ever seen them put one banner up about the board. And that was at Arsenal away when Roy was the manager. Will they do one about Glasner? I don't think they will, actually, to be honest, because I feel like they would feel it would have a detrimental effect. I think it would just set like a bad mood, if that makes sense. I feel like they wouldn't do that personally.
Yeah, fair enough.
But who knows? They've surprised me before, so
yeah.
Indeed. Well, we have segued into Mateta. Obviously, Glasner has said that he will be playing on Sunday.
Will he be starting?
Once again, we don't know if Glasner's lying. We don't know. But he said that Mateta hasn't mentioned anything, hasn't said that he wants to leave, anything of the sort. I don't know. Would he go this window? Because now Villa's got a Tammy Abraham now, apparently. I think that's done.
It sounds like for 18 million pounds.
Yeah. So you got that, and then when you look at what AC Milan, I think had inquired about Mateta earlier on today. For me, it sounds like he's gone. I generally think this might be Mateta's last game.
I don't think so. I'm going to tell you why I don't think so. I don't think the club is going to let him go. Not this window. There's not going to be an offer that comes in that's good enough to sanction a sale. You've got to get 35 million pounds because Wolves is going to ask 40 million for Strand Larson, and we ain't paying 40 million for Strand Larson unless we're getting a big chunk of that change from a sale of JP. It ain't going to happen. I just don't see it. Now, having said that, would I let him go if there was the right offer? I would, because I think the thing that keeps sticking in my mind here, Rich, and I hate that I'm this conspiratorial about it, but what Glasner said during the press conference is he hasn't handed in a transfer request. Did he say he wanted to leave? That's different than handing in a transfer request. So did he? Hey, Ali. So yeah, I mean, I want, like, words matter, and he's already shown himself to be a little cheeky with his words. So I kind of wonder. So I would sanction a sale if you could get the right fee for him, but otherwise, no chance. We need him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On that note, Ali.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
No worries. How long should we?
How are you, Dan? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah.
And hello, Tim.
Ali. Good to see you.
How long should we give it, Ali, to sanction this deal if it is to go through? Because knowing us, we will accept it on the last day of the window and try.
No, that's going to be a thing. I mean, and if we accept it on the window and then don't get a replacement, then Glasner's going to really lose it. So I'm quite easy on it. He's got another year after summer. I think for me, Mateta, we take 30 million minimum, nothing else. So, as Glasner said in the press conference, until someone comes in with a decent bid, there's nothing happening. You know, we've still got a relative amount of power here with it. It's not 12, it's 18 months to go. So, in my opinion, unless someone actually wants to come in with a decent bid, which Juventus didn't, which is who he wants to go to, and I can see why his head's turned. Juventus is one of the big clubs.
Sure.
But until someone comes in, what I'd also say to him, if Juventus can't afford to come in for a decent bid for you, where are they really going? They're not one of the big powerhouses anymore. I'm sorry to upset any Juventus fans. So for me as well, in Mateta's point of view, he'll probably get more offers in the summer because clubs don't really like to do business in January. So I think if the window shuts, I still think we're going to get everything from Mateta. I think people have been harsh on Mateta on social media. I think it's a bit of a case of last one out the door and he's taking the brunt of it all. Because until he's refusing to play or I see a lack of effort, which some say they think they've seen, but for me, he's playing on one knee. He's been overplayed with that.
Right.
For me, I'll get behind him until he would refuse to play or something. Then I would turn on him. So I expect, apparently he's playing. Let's get behind him and let's get behind everyone on Sunday because I still think we can have a really good season. I still think we can win the Conference League.
Dan, does the way that we run our club, is that the reason why Juventus decided, hey, listen, we're going to give you 3 million on loan and give you 24?
You're being generous. They were going to give us 2 million on loan.
My bad. 2 million on loan. Because we can easily see it as a disrespect to us.
Yeah.
But this is how our club is actually run. So they're thinking, I think we can exploit this. It says a lot.
I think there's two kind of parts there, and one is actually I think not related to Palace. I think, to be fair, Italian football is completely skint, as are a lot. And I think one thing that you saw, this is totally irrelevant to Palace, by the way, but I'm just going to say about anyway. But the thing is, the Premier League, when you're talking about money, is up here. Everyone else, even La Liga, is down here. And I think a lot of the problem is that a lot of the time, for example, when you see transfer fees banding around between, say, I don't know, a French team that isn't PSG or Paris or whoever, or Bundesliga, the fees are always a lot lower than they are to Premier League clubs because clubs know that the Premier League team has a lot more money, and it goes the other way as well. I think Italian football are skint. But that said, I do think the way we sell players is not very good. Because the best example, right, of a selling team was Brentford when they were in sort of League One and the Championship. They would sell players when they were at their best.
Yeah, at their peak. Yep.
At their peak, because then they would get the most money.
Yep.
And then they would use that to then, well, to be honest, they're good enough that they've actually probably already got that player.
I think that in the Prem as well.
They have,
a good amount of money.
Oh no, absolutely. Honestly, look at especially they have since then, obviously, but the Championship, especially, sold Ben Rama for 20 mil or something. They sold Ollie Watkins for about the same amount of money. And I think that's the trick that we miss out on. I think in terms of a buying club, I think the players we do get through the door, on the whole, are good. And the problem is our selling. For me, I would probably say in the past, let's say since John Tex has come in, because that seems to be when we've kind of flipped to that. That first window under Vieira was the first time I think we were kind of going for. Oh no, maybe
that was
Eze
the beginning
well,
of the model.
Yeah, maybe Eze to be fair. So maybe the one before that. But
sure.
I would say since then we've only sold twice. I would say Eze was a good sale, I think.
Yeah,
and I think Anderson was a good sale.
Elise, great sale.
Yeah, exactly. I think Elise was a sale. It was unavoidable the way it happened, but I think it was just a sale. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we made money out of it, so I guess you could argue that's good. But to me, that's two. And I think, for example, you look at Gay, sold for £20 million, and I think you just got to start selling players more in advance. And like Mateta, for example, and obviously we must have knew it was coming because we extended his contract. His contract was originally going to be out this summer.
I've told Rich this, but I do have a bit of information. I've told Rich that Mateta wants 175k a week. I know this.
Yeah, you can't pay that.
And it's been known for a while.
Yeah,
it's been known for a while.
Well, there you go. And that's the thing. If you've got a player who's not going to do it, you know, in the summer, you got him, you know, everyone wearing those boom glasses and, you know, everyone doing Wenger boys and all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just got to bite the bullet. And, okay, fine. Fans might not be happy, but so what? Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, people aren't bothered necessarily about selling a player. What they're bothered about is selling a player and then not having an immediate backup. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, when Eze left, I don't think people are actually that annoyed about it because we immediately, okay, Pino's been a bit hot and cold this season, but at least we had someone coming in and be like, this is the guy who's coming in instead. Like the Gay thing, like, to be honest with you, I've got no problem with a loan because we could very well revert to only having 2 centre backs. So
exactly,
a loan is fine, but that should have happened. Like, do you know what I mean? It should already have happened. Yeah. And it's not like they didn't know Gay was going to go. Do you know what I mean? It's just things like
Glasner
that.
said it during the press conference, February. They had that discussion.
And you know what the sad thing is, actually, in a way, with the Gay situation, I do think Riyad was probably meant to be his replacement, but obviously his knee just went kaput. Sure. So in that sense, I do feel sorry for the club in that regard. But like, how can you sell your best player and not at least have a couple of, you know, irons in the options? Well, I'm sure maybe they do, but like they obviously just not done it quick enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The other thing I say on Mateta is actually playing wise, it's not actually the selling him about his playing ability at the moment, given his form this season, that worries me. It's just another big personality leaving the dressing room. We've lost 2 club captains in 6 months. We've lost Eze, who was a massive personality within that dressing room. I just think it would be one too many too quickly, and that's why I would wait until the summer. Playing wise, if we got, you know, the young lad in and then someone like Strand Larsen in as well, then fine, let's go in terms of playing. But it's another personality going, and we know that the strength of that team last year in the FA Cup, one of the biggest strengths, Ben Chilwell said it when he came in, was the group. I just think it's taking one little bit of the piece out too soon for me.
Yeah, I think that's right. I want to just double underline here, Rich, what Dan said about the difference between, this is where I think the club deserves. And again, I'm very much, everybody knows this, I very much back Steve Parish. I think his long-term vision has been terrific. I like him a lot. I would rather have him than really anybody else at this moment in time, until somebody else shows me that they can come in, be connected to South London, and has, you know, like the real vision to take us forward. Until I see that person, he's my guy. Having said that, I'll tell you what, they deserve so much criticism for getting too emotionally attached to players. And I think Steve is the one that gets emotionally attached to players so that we don't sell at maximum value. And there is such a huge difference between the way we focus on trying to buy for value and not sell for value. That is a legitimate and damning criticism of this club. I think that's just objectively true. And I like Steve, but facts are facts, man. You got to call balls and strikes when you see them. And I think that's where we are. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's unfortunate. The last 3 windows have been very, very damaging to this club.
Do you know what's the one rumor that summed it up for me? That I knew that that the selling side of it was just wrong. Not selling Jez for like £10 million.
Right.
And it's like,
there you go. Exactly.
And it's like he went on loan to Sheffield United. Okay, he did well, but he only played like 50% of the minutes. And it's like,
great.
And it's like he's a decent player. Maybe he could be a Premier League squad player one day, but it's like you've literally just been offered 10 mil for him, for a player that might make it in the Premier League as a squad player.
And we were offered more than that, allegedly, from Southampton before we went on loan to Sheffield United.
Yeah,
maybe that was the time to be really ruthless.
Exactly.
That's so important.
Exactly.
That's so important.
Exactly.
Yep, that's a great point.
Like, I don't know if there's going to be like, for example, okay, like here's an example that is probably going to happen. Like, I think, I don't know anything, but I think Wharton will go in the summer. And you know what? I think that's actually the perfect time to sell him. Not because I don't want him here. Obviously, I want him here. I love the guy. I was watching his videos when he was at Blackburn and stuff. But at the end of the day, he'll have 3 years on his contract. He'll have a lot of money. There's a lot of noise around him, a lot of hype, and teams will pay that money when there's the hype, and you got to take it when you got to take it, and then use it to then obviously to invest. And like I said, I do think the majority of players we do get through the door are hits. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not worried in the sense of would we find someone suitable? I think we probably would, and that's the problem, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. But here's my argument with that very quickly. I think players are coming to us and demanding release clauses because we don't sell well and we drag out their contracts too long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and look what we did.
Thinking, that's an interesting point.
Prime example.
These players and agents are thinking, if you stay here long enough, you're going to rot here potentially. And rot's a terrible word, but like, could you get the move you want? Because obviously, like you said with Saha, Arsenal, I think, wanted him, didn't want to pay the 70 million. And I think they wanted to pay it like 10 million here, 10 million there, or whatever. So obviously, we're known for keeping our players. Obviously, for our benefit, yes, I get it, but not selling them at their peak. And I think that's why all our players now seem to have release clauses. Millsy's right in the chat. He says that Elise was already a £100 million player. We could tell that from season 1.
Yeah.
But there was no way he was going to sit on that, because he actually probably still will be with us and leaving this season on the free as well.
Yeah. That's such a good point, Rich. That's a really excellent point. And I would say also, like, you just think about this and the way that we're doing business at the moment. I would encourage you to read, if you're not in the FYP Patreon. I'll tell this story. It was in one of the supplement podcasts where Adam Sells was talking about, he had heard from the club that, at one point he told him, because he was, like a lot of us, get very frustrated at the buying and selling at the end of the window. It's such a theme for us, and it just drives us completely mad, and we let it. I know, I can only speak for me. I let it drive me mad when I should know better, that it's always coming, right? I should know it's always coming, and then it comes again, and why am I surprised? And so this came up, and someone at the club said to him, like, well, we saved £6 million by waiting until the end of the window. And his point was, like, you didn't save anything, because what you've done is drop down the table by waiting, and you didn't save a damn thing.
£6 million.
you probably forfeited £6 to £9 million by dropping down the table. And so when I think Jason said this earlier, I'm not for absolutely bashing Parrish, but I will say again, like, balls and strikes here. When have we been really proactive in such a way? I'm not for a ton more money. I don't think that's the issue, but I am for what Dan said and what Ali is saying and what you're saying, Rich, is like, you have limited capital. You have got to be unbelievably ruthless with that limited capital. You must be. Otherwise, you put yourself in a bad position, and we haven't seen that.
Absolutely. Tim, I know you've got to go shortly, so I'm going to ask you, everyone, and the chat, this, because this is something else Glasner said. So he was asked in the presser, like, do you feel like, obviously, after you've won the FA Cup, there's a lack of ambition, in a sense, when you think about other teams in the Premier League, like Leicester City? Don't you ever have the ambition to win a Premier League, because it is possible? And Glasner's response was, well, look at where they are now. And I thought, whoa.
Yeah, that's harsh, wasn't it?
I was like, whoa, hold on a second. That's a Premier League title, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, yes, I get they've just recently got relegated again, and they're in the Championship. But my goodness me, they've won the Premier League. Like, I'm thinking, have some respect, So my question to all of you, and Tim, obviously I know you got to go, so you can go first on this. Would you be in Leicester's position, rather be in Leicester's position where you've won a Premier League but remain in the Championship, or stay in Palace's position where we've won an FA Cup but remain a Premier League side? And I'm going to put that to the chat as well. I've done it as a poll.
I think, I mean, look, for me, it's not an easy. I would say it's a fairly easy call, although I have to admit that you don't know what you don't know about the long-term consequences of saying this. But I think you go for glory. If you have a Premier League title, if you have that trophy in the cabinet, that lasts forever. Plus, remember, Leicester got a Community Shield and they got an FA Cup and they got the Premier League title. Yes, they're in bad shape at the moment, but that doesn't mean they aren't going to come back at some point. And Palace have been in some pretty bad positions before. If you give me that today, that again, that lasts forever.
Title, I'm telling you, I'm taking that.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Like you if you give me that, you take that, and then you hope that you can recover. Stability is important, and I think I'll argue quickly the other side of it before I got to drop. The other side of it is, remember that when Leicester won the title, you guys might remember this. It was what was it? It wasn't Project Restart. It was something else. And the big clubs, the big 6 clubs, proposed a bunch of changes to the rules. A lot of them didn't go, but a lot of them did. And they really changed the rules that stuck it to clubs like Palace.
Definitely.
And so, and expressly for the purpose, we can never have another Leicester in this league.
That's
and so it is different. It is different now. So the consequences of falling out of the Premier League when you don't have like a lot of resources to fight your way back are a bit more dire, but still, you asked me that today. I mean, come on. This is what we play football for. You got to give me the Premier League title, and I take the consequences and hope we don't go, on a permanent slide down into the National League.
Absolutely. Tim, pleasure as always, man.
Yeah, I got to go. You
Tim.
guys are great. Yeah, big up everyone.
See you
Take
later,
care,
mate.
guys.
See you later,
See
Tim.
ya.
Take care, mate.
Ali, what's your thoughts then?
It's a tough one for me because Jeffrey Schlupp has played for both clubs. So I think when he said
but Hamada's only played for one.
Yeah, that's the point. But when he said that they'd won the FA Cup too, that swung it for me Leicester's way.
Yeah, I remember watching that game.
to win the Premier League and the FA Cup and the Community Shield is mad. It's bad what's going on at Leicester actually, because out of all like the other clubs' podcasts I've like done stuff with, I've met some really great people through Leicester, and it's just really bad. It's just having a not very good season. It looks like they're not going to get the playoffs, which is a shame. But it does show that how quickly things can flip and change, doesn't it?
Well, that's the thing, and I think with that, I mean, from from like what I've seen online and stuff like that, it seemed like that trigger for that was when Vichai died and then his son took over.
Yeah. I don't think they've got. I don't think the ownership, from what I understand, is so much deeper than the football. It's their ownership is not good at the moment.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because they had like a model of like how they sold players. Like they'd sell one player a season for big money and then try and invest it and stuff like that. And it seemed like Vichai really like bought into the club, whereas his son just seemed to not really be too bothered. And then I don't know what's happened since. This was a few years ago now. It was a couple of years ago now, so I don't know what's happened since. But
I think as well, it's not just that. It's like some of the sporting directors who've come in as well. They've seemed to have big issues with. Obviously, when they were doing well, was it Steve Walsh? I mean, they were like the embodiment of what was good for clubs our size. But I think there's people who are working day to day running the club that they're not happy with. But they've disintegrated, and it's just like a bit of a wake up call for clubs like us that how quickly it can change.
Absolutely.
Which is why the appointment post Glasner is going to be so
massive.
crucial.
And
It's
I think,
massive. I mean, I personally, and from what I hear, Thomas Frank might look to go away from England if he gets the sack from Tottenham. But if he's available, Thomas Frank, I would throw the money at him.
What does that do for Brendan Johnson?
yeah, I was going to say that's Brendan Johnson gone.
Just sell him to Forest. Marinakis will throw the money.
Right.
Yeah, I
think. And are you for Premier League or?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I agree with the others because I was thinking about it, and I was thinking like at the end of the day, what you want to see, right? I feel like what's important is what you take away from your time being good. Do you know what I mean? Because let's be real, all clubs go through stages where they're not, well, at least most clubs will go through stages that are not so good. So it's about what you take when you are good. And it's not necessarily in terms of trophies. It could be like, improving the stadium, for example, improving the academy, which obviously we've done the academy stadium very, very, very slowly, maybe getting there, who knows. But I think it's about what you take back, because what I want to see, for example, is, and obviously the FA Cup and stuff like that, I want to see, for example, if we got relegated this season, just say for argument's sake, or next season, how likely is it, are we going to come straight back up or come back up within 2 seasons? For me, it's about that, where you are. Because like you can look, for example, look at clubs like Bournemouth and Brentford, just for example, like look at where they were, say, 15 years ago. If Bournemouth got relegated this season, they'd be coming back up. Do you know what I mean? So therefore you can say, in that respect, they've improved. That bounce back ability, I guess, has gotten better. And I would ask myself the same question: where would we come straight? Obviously, we won the FA Cup, which goes without saying. But in addition to that, what can we say? Okay, when we are maybe going through a bit of a rough patch, how well have we kind of armored ourselves against that? If that makes sense.
Yeah, and how have we, like you said, how have we kicked on? We've bought some houses. Yeah. We're nowhere near this main stand, are we? Although allegedly we're further on.
Allegedly.
So I remember when we got promoted, I remember reading one fan said, do whatever, Parish, but make sure like you give the old lady, meaning sellers, the paint. Like give it a little paint. And how have we done that? Like, and in particular, one thing that irritates me is I'm not particularly bothered about food at a football ground or something. But how has the match day experience of a fan improved since we've been in the Premier League? It's the same rubbish served up. The only improvement we've got is those things outside where you get the beer on tap. Like, it's just, I think I'm somewhere down the middle with Parish, always have been. But I think there's a lot of things that are poor and deserve to be called out. And if we got relegated, what have the fans got left? We've got the FA Cup, which is obviously incredible. But in terms of the stadium, obviously he needs this main stand as a legacy. But there's stuff like day-to-day going to the ground that, in my opinion, should have been improved. I
agree. And there's even things like the box office, like the way like sometimes we conduct our ticket sales and stuff. It's just like...
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Just like, what's... That's not a dig at anyone like working or anything, but it's just like... I do agree, because it's like, for example, when they came, okay, yes, we were towards like the bottom end of the championship when they arrived, but historically we've kind of like more or less been in the middle, really. So it's like, that was 2010, 11, 12, whatever. And then fast forward, how many years is that? Like whatever, I don't know, like 15 years. And let's say you got relegated. Are we going to be back in that same position? Okay. And all we've got to show for it, I say all we've got to show for it. Obviously, we got the trophy, but then in terms of, I mean, I do agree with Durford.
I much more care about having an FA Cup and stuff like that. And maybe this seems like a petty criticism, but it's like last season Millwall home FA Cup took my dad, who I had a season ticket with when we were like way back in the Championship, and we were just laughing. He was like, the hot dogs are the same. Like what kind of considerable improvements have been made for a fan? And that's why it kind of annoys me a little bit when as I said, I'm down the middle. I've got so much respect for Parish and what he's done for the club, but there's a certain group who won't have anything said about Parish. But what sort of consideration and respect is that showing the match day going fan? You know, I don't think.
100%.
You know what I mean? There are things that need to be called out, and obviously, been a lot.
They don't get called out.
I know. There's just certain things like, you know, there's a lot gone on in recent weeks, and I'm down the middle. But it is a shame the way Glasner did it, because our greatest, most successful ever manager calling some of the things that a lot of people get shot down for on social media for saying these things could and should have been extremely powerful, but the heat got taken off the board because of the manner in which he did it. And also, I still can't get my head around the angle he went down with the Gahey thing, because if he'd sat there and said about not having right wing back cover, as someone who's been freezing in the concourse at the Emirates 2 years in a row, thinking we could have given this quarterfinal in the League Cup a go. We had some sort of semblance of cover for Munoz, and then thinking the same again the next year, and we still haven't got right wing back cover. And you can see how much I'm losing it here. That is indefensible. That is negligence, and that's where he should have lost his head at in the way that I am now. But he just went down the wrong route. It's a shame. I'm down the middle on it all. But it does annoy me a bit that certain people will just have nothing bad said, because that's not constructive either.
Yeah.
100%. Completely agree.
All right. Let's finish off on some positives. Soren Munoz are back. Soren Munoz are back.
Yeah, mate.
Massive. But I would say the biggest one, and fingers crossed he can just somehow get back to just being on the pitch.
Yes,
Chet
Rob
Doucouré,
Holding. Oh.
Get out of here. Chet Doucouré has taken part in 20 minutes of training. He's been able to do some rondos. He's at least on the grass. He's on the grass.
Tomorrow you're going to find out he's got another injury.
Oh, don't.
Thanks, Ali.
He was so sad though, because he was so good.
It is.
Look, Dan, you were there, weren't you? Like at Forest a few years ago. And
yes.
Yeah, and like literally he was our only midfielder. That season where he was the midfield. Like he just held it together. Yeah, that was another time when we went through a whole season with Doucouré holding midfield and didn't buy a central midfielder. Just to cite back to what I said. But yeah, it would be lovely to see him back. It would be a real bonus.
100%.
There will be a massive bonus. And I think especially now, like when you think about the injuries we've got, the players that might even leave, like fingers crossed, he might be ready towards the back end of the season, which I don't expect. They're going to be, I know they're going to really take their time with it. But if he can come back for next season, especially if we potentially lose one.
Yeah.
It's such a travesty for the footballing world that we've rarely got to see Wharton and Doucouré together.
Wasn't Doucouré, he was getting linked with like Liverpool and stuff.
Yeah, he was getting linked with big money moves, and obviously his Achilles.
So that's Luton
Achilles first, wasn't it?
Yeah. Maybe going back to your point that we don't take money when we need to sometimes. Maybe could have been one of those another example to cite, but the injury, we have been unlucky with injuries, though, to be fair, in recent times.
Mm-hmm.
Like Munoz and Sarr at the same time basically taking the entire right hand side.
And Kamada,
Listen, it's sometimes football's simple. We can talk around the houses. Without Munoz, we are Man United under Amorim, where we're playing a system that doesn't work for us. Yeah. So, it's fine. I can't wait to have them back, because this is my thing. This is why I want everyone was going, let Glasner go now. I was like, no, like when they're back, we will kick on again. And I think the press conference was good today. I think it was a good start to getting things back on an even keel and having a go for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks for joining us. Please smash the like button now or on the way out. Share the stream. Make sure to give Ali a subscription and a follow on his socials. His channel is not called All Gone Wrong Since His channel is actually called Ali.
It's called Pride of South London Fan TV. Occasionally ramble on the way home from games or next to a Palace gnome. But it has all gone wrong since Ahmada left. Like literally days later was when Glasner quit. And I don't blame him, because he was a special player.
You really miss shut up, don't you?
Mate, Schlupp could have played this season.
Where? I'm trying to think.
But that's
Where?
sums our depth up.
Oh, he's
There's
at,
not a few
he's at
games.
Norwich.
I'll put this out. There's definitely been a few Jordan Ayew definitely would have played at times this season.
He's the one
wish he was here.
I miss Jordan Ayew.
Yeah, I think it's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame. Shame he didn't stay.
That just shows how we've not moved on in terms of squad depth at all.
Absolutely. Now, big up everyone in the chat as well. Like, I know the conversation's been flowing and stuff. And thank you for keeping it respectful as well. But yeah, we move on to Sunday, and yeah, hopefully
3 points.
something out of that, man.
We really need 3 points.
We really do. We really, really do.
Yeah.
Guys, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and as always, up the palace.
Up the palace.
Yos.
Well, hang on. It's not ended.